So what really is behind the mask? So now we have the corona, which is massively distorted and magnified by mass media. Some of what they say is true, but statistics are purposely reported out of context. And most of what is being relayed to you is conjecture, imaginary scenarios, and fraudulently used video. Careful, this contains trace elements of fact. And we mourn the loss of a certain number of people globally from coronavirus 19, may God rest their souls. And a tiny number of people compared to the lives that are being claimed by all of the viruses that are out there now. And all of the road accidents, mosquito-carried diseases, suicides, that's one suicide every 40 minutes. Not forgetting all the lives that are worse than death. So what is corona? COVID-19 seems to be nothing compared to all of the other coronaviruses that are already rampant out there and that are killing thousands of people as we speak, including the common cold and the flu. However, there's no media talking about it, and nobody seems to be worrying about it, except for those people who are suffering from those ailments. Of course, whilst China and the US have been taking decisive action to keep those sniffles under control, comparatively, media do not talk about or report about the flu, which is thousands of times deadlier than the corona. And so, if you are immunodepressive, God forbid, then you are at risk for it. In fact, now, your chances of dying are 100% if you've been born. So why do mass media need to distort everything? Firstly, of course, advertising sales. Nothing drives advertising sales like nail-biting stuff. But much more importantly, with the current progression of the internet, what we have is power to the people. So much more than ever before, people can communicate with, I don't know, but communicate to almost anyone and produce media, making mass media look like the sham that it is. And this means the death of nation-state governments, because the apparatus of government and their dissemination of information and right thinking are not sustainable in this context. So what both national governments and mass media need to do now to continue to exist and to continue to generate and retain wealth is to have everybody live in a state of panic and to retain a high degree of mental and emotional influence over people. Don't forget that this necessarily entails promoting as much xenophobia as possible. And Western media has done a lot of false reporting on this, which has been copied by media worldwide, as usual. So we have to understand, you see an image on the screen, but it's not what the commentator says it is. It can be absolutely anything, and it is absolutely anything that they feel like telling you that it is. We have to detach our mind from the emotion of the image, or le choc des photos, as the French magazine Paris Match used to say in the 1980s, which is how we influence people and make money. As we know, moving images are normally much more powerful. So what about data? Can we please check data promulgated by international authorities of all kinds, rather than relying on mass media and hearsay, and whatever my friend said that his friend's doctor said about it? So take precautions, but don't shut down the global economy and your relationships with the world. Conspiracy theories. Number 1. The Asian conspiracy theory. COVID-19 started in Wuhan market. No doubt. Do people eat bats there? Maybe. I don't know. Can you put it in the comments below? Did Ebola start from bats? Almost certainly. Of course, we know that many diseases are transmitted to humans arising from humans abusing animals. Does that mean that you should attack East Asian people? Not at all. East Asian people are mostly overwhelmingly clean and don't eat bats. Number 2, the anti-white conspiracy. So did white people create the coronavirus in order to shut down China? Of course that's possible, just like it's possible that it's the so-called Wuhan weapons lab. But just like East Asians, white people are not actually a thing. Neither exist China is not a town, it's a continent. 82% of so-called white people in Europe, for example, are not English speakers. Everyone is only people, and every person and every nation is different to the next nation and person. But as novel viruses are popping up all the time, it seems very unlikely that this is some kind of pathogenic warfare. But that's coming soon. Don't worry, watch this space. So there's no need to spread rumors about how people are trying to kill you with a virus. There's no need to attack white people every day just because CNN doesn't report it. You can get away with it with impunity, and global media are about as ethical as the Third Reich in the propaganda that they pump out all day long. So how should we wear the mask? Number 1, receiving. So amazingly, even industrialized countries' media doesn't tell you that wearing a mask keeps you safe, although everyone they show in all of their video is always wearing a mask, like some kind of dystopian sci-fi movie. Although we also see that media in a number of countries across the world have adopted, of course, the ostrich policy and continue to tell their populaces that wearing masks keeps you safe. So how to wear the mask? Firstly, this paper gadget doesn't protect you at all from the coronavirus or from almost anything else. It seems that the coronavirus is too small to be seen even through a microscope, and it can pass through almost anything. So as you're breathing and making your mask moist and wet through your breathing, you're increasing your chances of getting all kinds of bugs through this piece of paper, which itself is completely useless. So the only way to be safe is to stop breathing, or to have a gas mask that has specific filters that are able to take specific particles out of the air. So wear a mask only if you're sick, as this reduces some of the projections that you project somewhat, okay? And if you're well, don't get into big crowds. Don't touch things that thousands of people have touched. Wash your hands quite often. It's really great. I see almost no one doing this. Some people have just started. Relax and enjoy. What's much more dangerous is that this mask is actually a verbal and emotional barrier between you and other people, which makes it hard to see other people's humanity, emotions, and hard to understand what they say. The mask kills the emotions and the sympathy which are needed in society for peaceful collaboration and coexistence. So, the mask kills everyone. How to wear the mask, number 2. So, wearing a mask does not give you the right to cough and sneeze over everyone at point-blank range. And the only safer way to cough or sneeze every time is by turning away and doing that into your elbow. So in general, you may as well wear the mask on your eyes, which is having about the same effect that it is on your mouth and nose, blinding you to the reality of the viruses and how to manage them, and also blinding you as to the reality of what's happening in the world as societies degenerate more and more into fear and sectarianism. Create, collaborate, and communicate. Not communicating with other people and being scared of other people is fragmenting society and will kill you much quicker than any virus. Do not allow society to be broken into debris. Do not be afraid of everyone and do not stop communicating. Of course, don't expect necessarily a positive reaction from other fear-ridden people if you approach them, but reach out and communicate with people now and keep your neighborhood and community alive.